Hey guys. Hey, 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 hey. It's the last day of the year, from what they say. Last day. Last day. Last day. I think that's day O, isn't it? The last day? From Alpha to Omega, from the first day to the last day. Day O, day O. So, do you have something big planned for your celebration to bring in the new year? Are you going to be with lots and lots and lots of people? Are there lots and lots of people to be with? I saw some reports about, I think it was down in Louisiana, Baton Rouge or something, about how a bunch of the bars are closed and stuff. And I think that's probably because a lot of the people are gone. Just they're not around anymore. And COVID was just nothing more than a cover story to make us think that there was a reason for a lack of people being around or available. But then that's just, our imagination. I will say that our awareness and consciousness is increasing, it is improving. And as well as our intuitive abilities seem to be just spot on anymore. And they're improving as well. But then I do believe we have many more good spirits with me. And I'm very thankful about that. Thankful we have a lot more sky, a lot more heaven with me. Heaven be me, make this body heaven. That's what I say. Let's just keep ascending. I know one of them was saying the other day, we didn't come here to ascend, but yeah, we did. I did. I only came to leave. That's what, as far as I can tell, the only reason why we came down was to find out just how bad it was and then move on. Hey guys, back again. Excuse me, I had to walk away for a moment. And you know what? I'm trying to be cheery. Be of good cheer, he said. That's what the Lord and Savior, the Son of the living God, they said, be of good cheer. It's important because, the strategy of the darkness stuff, of course, is to make everybody sarcastic and cynical and, generally crabby, grouchy kinds of people who have lots to complain about. At least that's a theory. And that's just one of the strategies they have. But the darkness does want to produce people that are, I think, sad and miserable, or angry and disappointed, and or belligerent and hateful of others and their happiness, and or all of the above. You see what I'm saying? So now that you know, that's half the battle, right? And it is true that you do have, the thing of it is can you be driven by something else? Can you be driven to this, that, or another, to doing things and saying things that you normally wouldn't if you didn't have them with you? Well, it's my firm belief that yes, indeed, you can. Is it that they're in full possession of you? Because there's a lot of people who will argue that if you're a Christian, you can't be possessed. That as though demons have no power over you. And this seems to me like if you were a Christian and the Prince of Peace was living in you, that you'd become his, right? The king's. That in fact no demon could inhabit you because that was already property that was spoken for. That's the way I see it. And that's the reason why they don't like Christians, is because they have no place in Christians. They will have no place there, and they'll have none of them. Because why? It belongs to the king. And that's the way it goes. But then that's why they're out there, trying to corrupt all those other people and get them to believe all sorts of things in the name of love. It's to they would tell you that as a Christian you're supposed to be love. You're supposed to love everyone. I actually had one of them stand there and say, "Aren't Christians supposed to love everyone, and no, they're not. They're supposed to love each other, one another, the way Jesus loved them. But they never do say exactly how Jesus loved them. I will tell you, it's a great book. The Bible is the book, and you have to read it. You have to expose yourself to all of it, just to know that, in fact, there is reasons to believe that those who assembled the books had an agenda and were being steered by not necessarily always the best forces. But does it serve God's purpose? I guess it does. Uh, as far as I can tell, it's an awful lot again and again and again. I've said before, you are what you eat, and your eyes and ears are always open eating. And it is true. And if you take in all these things without any discernment, then you can become what it is that you are consuming, whether that be something beautiful, you know. But I mean, you won't necessarily actually become that, but you're becoming, you're beginning to more and more become more of that. And that's why people read the book, read his word, so they are taking on more and more of him, sit in contemplation of him, sit in conversation with him. These are all, giving attention is in fact a form of worship. It's not praise, let's say, but it is a form of worship because you are either speaking about him or thinking about him or feeling the Spirit, trying to, communing with the Spirit. That's all an act of worship, in my opinion, because you're giving focus to. And remember, it was said in John that what our basic instruction was to take on the Prince of Peace and to become more and more as he is, to take on more and more of that peace and that supernatural, what he is, and to be more and more like him, not only in our actions and thoughts, but also in our composition. And this was to replace the nothing that had been a part of us before. So there's your basic mission. And part of that is in saying goodbye to these other things and saying no to them. And so we have and did. And it's been many, many years that we said no to them and goodbye to them. And we've had several, it looks, pretend that they were God, even though they were the enemy. And that is not going to pay off at all for them. I've noticed this pattern again and again of God deciding, the message comes from, quote, God, unquote, that he's decided to do this or that or some other thing, but it's only after I decided it would be and made the proclamation, which is odd that, God would be mirroring me, quote, unquote, God, right? Little g God, some kind of dark God maybe. I know it's not the God of light and life, because the God of light and life has no test for me. He has no, he's not going to be putting me through trials and tribulations and this and that and blah, 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 blah. There is no test. He already knows who I am. He already knows I'm loyal. The God of light and life, okay, right? The God of heaven, they know me in heaven. I'm a part of them. I'm from there. So that's where I'm going back. We did come to ascend. we didn't we it wasn't our choice to come down, and we were brought down under false pretenses and with false charges also. And it is for us to go back up, to be best and to be most effective. We're best in a higher position. And these people who talk about how, it gets cold up there and you fly too high and your wings freeze up and all that, nah, that don't happen to me. You see, the thing of it is this is, people talk about being wealthy and cool, and they don't know what it is. They don't know what real, how they think they know what wealth is, but they've never seen the truest of they were the wealthiest of the wealthy, I don't think. They would be awestruck, I do believe, if they did. But I'm sure that by the end they will. And cool, man, I'm telling you, there's just, I don't believe there's too high for me. You know, Major Tom was cruising around up in space, far high above the world. And he wasn't cold. He may have felt like ice to the bottom dwellers, you know, or them in the yellow maybe. Um, but it's just something, you know. This whenever the cool chick showed up, it felt like home to me. It was like, oh, finally, you know. And then I'm thinking, well, did she steal all my cool? That witch. But I don't know that they are or not. What I am saying is I'm going to be awfully happy with this new year if it shapes up at all like what's being predicted. And there's a lot of predictions going on. They're telling me that I'm Jack the Giant Slayer or something like that. And again, back to that theme, and that I do it as if by accident. And I would say that yeah, probably, more than likely, that an awful lot of what is to occur happens just simply because we're being what we be, and because of what the enemies have done. They've set all this up, you know. Before it was this thing that there was a system at work, but they weren't satisfied with that. Um, and I'll tell you, the prophetic word people, it's just like, again, kids, you know, we listen to that stuff because there was this possibility of having an actual conversation with specific individuals. And yet we did get an awful lot of that. And it proved to us that those people aren't even connected to God in any way, shape, or form. Not anything that we'd call God. Not anything that understands the light. They're the enemy instead. So it is difficult to have perfect faith in any words that come from there. Do I have perfect faith in them of the light, the good stars that I know, and life, truth, justice? Yes, I certainly do. And I'm sure that they're all know me and know me well and will come to my aid this year. And that we'll all get together and I'll be surrounded by an awful lot of what's me. But I'm going to be listening and communing and finding out what the basics of the story is coming up this year. But it does look like it's just going to be victory after victory and victory upon victory and success and all that stuff that's been predicted for all those many years. And if so, wonderful. It truly will be a happy year. And I'm saying, I hope that you have a happy new year as well. All of you that love and support us. And of course, for the enemy, I hope that, I don't have to hope. All I can say is you won't have the happiest of years. You've seen your better days because you're too evil. But hopefully we'll be able to work something out to save every one that we can from the final death. But one way or the other, Happy New Year, guys. Happy New Year to you. Have a happy and safe celebration tonight. I hope you're surrounded by people that you love and trust.